Hello everyone, welcome to my new channel, Learning with DC24, the best teacher in the world. I'm your host, DC24. Okay, that's enough of DC24. Let's get started with today's lesson. Okay, so now we have fraction, decimal, and percentage. How do we convert a fraction into a decimal, and a decimal to a percentage, or a percentage into a decimal, or a percentage to a fraction, and vice versa? So how do we convert all these things? So let's start with fraction. How do we convert a fraction to become a decimal? Simple. We just need to divide. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to see if we can make it smaller so we could make it a lot easier and divide by a single digit number. So what can divide both numbers? It is 4. So we can divide 4, divide by 4, so to be 1 over 5. So this will be a lot more easier than dividing 4 divided by 20. So we have 5 divided by 1. Now how many 5s can you put in 0? Is 0. 0 times 5 is 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. So are we finished yet? No, we're not, because it's not a 0. So the first thing we do is we put a 0 here and a decimal point, and then we bring down the 0. So how many 5s can you put in 10? It is 2. 2 times 5 will give you 10. And now you have the decimal, which is 0.2. Okay, and wait, excuse me, let me just correct one of the questions. Okay, now that we have 0.2, how do we convert it to a percentage? What we need to do is just times 100, remember? Times 100. Now how do we times a decimal times 100? Look, remember what we need to do? You just look at how many zeros we have. How many zeros do we have? We have 2. So we go 1, 2. So we put our decimal point here. So to be what? 20%. Remember from where we got the 0 from? Because here is empty. It's nothing. What's the number for nothing? It is 0. Okay? So far, so good. Now we have a decimal. So how do we make it into percentage? How do we make it into a fraction? Let's turn it to a fraction first. The first thing we need to look at is how many zeros do we have, or how many numbers are after the decimal. It is 1, so we can just do it like this: 3 over 10. There you have it as a decimal. And now how do we turn it into a percentage? All we need to do is just times 100. 1, 2. Now we have it as 30%. Okay? Now, how do we convert it from a percentage to a decimal? So a decimal to percentage, you times 100. But from a percentage to a decimal, you divide 100. So 56 divided by 100. Remember, you start from here. How many zeros do we have? 2, 1, and 2. And remember, in division, you have to write the 0.56. If there's no number, you put what? A 0. Okay? Now that we have our decimal, let's convert it into a fraction. How many numbers are after the decimal? 1, 2, so to be 56 over what? Over 100. Now let's try to convert a fraction to a decimal again. What do we need to do? We have our 5. We have our 3. How many 5s in 3? 0, 0. Bring on the 3. Then we put the decimal and the 0. Bring down the 0. How many 3s? How many 5s? 6. 30 minus 30 equals 0. So we have our decimal over here, which is 0.6. How do we convert it to become a percentage? All we have to do is just times 100, which will equal 60%, because we're going to go 1 and 2. The decimal goes here. Since there's nothing here, we're going to add what? Our 0. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. If you do not understand, just let me know in the comment section. If you do understand, thank you so much for watching, and please do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.